So over the past few years, I have been doing a specific process where I go somewhere remote, reflect on how my year went, and set goals for the next year. I've been doing this for the past 4 years now, and every time I do it, I've experienced monumental growth in all areas of my life that matters to me, especially my finances. This year in particular, I have 4x my income and cured a 4-year adult onset eczema condition thanks to this process. I have grown so much as both a business owner and a person, and I want to share this process with you so that you can experience the transformation that I have experienced as well. This process that I'm about to share with you was originally something that I created just for myself using various methods of envisioning that I've learned by attending many programs run by famous speakers and trainers. The decision to make my own process arise because even though the programs that I attended was amazing, and I always find something slightly incomplete, biased, or don't make 100% perfect sense to me. And me being someone who is highly detail oriented and probably hyper rational, this somewhat affected me. And as a result, my attempts at following through always felt stifled. Like I want to go all out, but there's always some questions in me about the necessity of some of the elements that was being taught that stopped me from going all out. So this is why I created my own process, and I am giving this to you for free. In fact, I'm giving you all the tools that are associated with it that are required in order for you to use this well, including the Notion board that I use to give you the demonstration that you're about to see later on, so that you don't have to spend a lot of time taking notes and scribbling on pieces of paper what you learn. You can just jump right in and start your process immediately. This is my gift to the community. Use it abundantly. Now, here's my request. If you ever signed up for any form of envisioning courses at all, you would know that the information that you'll be receiving today is normally only given in private workshops that cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. My request is that if you find this content to be helpful to you, please help me push out this video to as many people as possible by simply liking the video and subscribe to my channel, as that will really help the algorithm to recognize the value of what you've seen today and push it out to even more people. Additionally, if you'd like to be supported in your envisioning journey, I run a free community that you can join to ask questions about this process, and either myself or the community members will do our best to help you. To be clear, I do not run a coaching program at the moment, as my main business is as an AI brand strategist. So I have no financial benefits from giving this to you for free. But if you do join my community, we will help you as and when we can. So you can find the link to join my community in the video description below. With that being said, let's begin today's training. First, you're going to need to access the Notion board that I'm about to show you. This is the Notion board, and you'll be able to get access by finding the link in the description. So this is the Notion board, and you will find that once you click on the link and you get access to you make a duplicate of your own, you'll be able to see this page here, goals. Envision your year. Goals is your timeline. Reflection database. This is 4 elements. Don't bother with the rest of the other stuff. The first thing that we need to be concerned with is this one over here, envisioning process. Once you make your own duplicate copy, just click on this button right here, and you will get access to this page right here. So we are gonna be working on this page primarily. Okay, and once we have done, we're gonna come back to here and put all of our goals over here. So the reason why this is like that is because you can imagine this as the workbook. Okay, so this is the workbook that we are going to be working on. And once we have done all the background stuff, once we have done all the brainstorming, reflections, intention setting, etc., we're going to come back here and we're going to consolidate everything into a simple one-pager, complete with the timeline, and also a sort of place where you are able to do day-end reflections, weekly, monthly, quarterly reflections, and so on. And this is possibly even more important than the envisioning process, and this is exactly why I'm able to hit my goals year after year. So with that being said, just go, once you have access to this, just go ahead and click on this envisioning process. And since this is a video, you can pause at any time you want. If you need time to pause, please pause and do whatever that's necessary. My hope is that you are able to basically just follow along as I walk you through this, rather than waiting for me to finish the lecture. So you can follow along, get it done. That would be my best advice on how you can make this happen for you. So first, once you have clicked on this button right here, you'll be taken to the envisioning process page. Again, this is your workbook. And the first things first, there is this tutorial toggle right here. And I will be putting this video underneath here so that you'll be able to watch this again and again if you need to. There's also notes here. Okay, I'm gonna explain the steps. I'm gonna explain the framework that is required. And I'm gonna walk you through this whole thing. So let's start. So there are basically 12 steps all in all. So it is divided into basically this sort of rough chunks. So first we're gonna brainstorm, and then we're gonna reflect first, and then we're gonna brainstorm, and we're gonna extract the most important parts of what we have decided. We're gonna prioritize the goals that we want to prioritize, and then we're gonna condense it into something simple, because the idea is from the many to the few, because the human brain is not able to remember too many things at the same time. And the problem that many people who try to manifest, many people who try to envision things, is that they try to hold on to too many different wants, too many different desires, and that's exactly why their channels, their focus is just scattered. When the focus is scattered, they're not able to be effective, and when you're not able to be effective, people tend to get burnout, people tend to get drained without getting much traction. So, and also it's very difficult for them to pivot whenever situations happen. So that's what we don't want. And that's why we are doing it according to this sort of rough flow from the many to the few. Okay. So the first step is basically, this is a basic overview. Don't worry about the definitions. I'm going to make sure you really understand it by the end of the training. This is just the basic overview. Okay. So first things first, we're going to reflect on the past year, and we're going to extract the lessons. Then you're gonna assess your personal satisfaction on each area of life across all of these areas. Once you've done so, you will reassess your worldviews about each area. You will understand what worldview means later on. You're gonna set a new vision. I'm gonna explain to you later on what is the difference between a vision and a goal. You're gonna set a new vision for each of the area. You're gonna deeply assess why each vision is important to you. In other words, what is the purpose behind the vision? As Simon Sinek always said, many people now already know the importance of starting with why. But over here, we are not going to start with why. We're going to start with what. We're going to start with something else. As you will see later on, the something else, the two other things, is going to be even more important. We're going to strategize how you will achieve the vision for each area. You're going to decide your one vision statement for the year. So you're going to come up with vision for all these areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you're going to come up with vision for all of these, but you're going to consolidate all of that visions, all the various vision, into one single vision for the year. And you're going to decide on the top goals for the year that are supporting that vision, that are the milestones to that vision. Then you're going to decide what is your one word intention. This is something which is foreign. I suppose is foreign to many, but it's actually what I found to be the absolute game changer when it comes to envisioning and goal setting. So we're going to decide on a one word intention for the whole year. You're going to learn what that means later on as well. And then we're going to create a timeline of monthly goals that will serve the top goals of the year. I'm gonna pull my own one so that you are able to see. Give me a second. So this is the timeline, right? And this is basically my goals for the year, and this is my timeline for the year. So we are gonna establish the timeline of monthly goals that will serve the top goals of the year. And every morning, because it's not just a matter of setting and forgetting. After you set, you need to take action. So, and how do you know that you take action? Awareness. You need to bring awareness to how you're spending your time, how you're spending your energy, how you're spending your money, how you're spending your resources in general. So every morning we need to do goal setting for the day itself. Every evening we gotta do reflection of how the day went. Have we been spending our time, our energies on the right places? So all of that is what we're gonna be covering today. So the framework that I need to teach you, otherwise you wouldn't have enough context to use this properly, is four things. Try not to skip whatever I'm speaking right now, because even though some of these things sounds familiar, you will find that my interpretation of these things are very different. And it's different for a reason. I'm not one of those people who create something new just to try and differentiate myself. I have no interest in differentiating myself. I'm already different enough as it is, it's already like an alien. So what I'm trying to do is trying to find something which is closer to the truth. I am trying to create things which is more useful, and normally that means taking something that is already existing, and try to figure out like what are the things that will make it work even better. So even though some of these things feels familiar, like Wheel of Life model, everyone knows what is a Wheel of Life model. There is a reason why I came up with my own version of the Wheel of Life model, rather than just swiping it from Tony Robbins or Lifebook or whatever. So I'm gonna explain to you each and every one of these components. Try not to skip any of them. So first of all, with the Wheel of Life model, the idea is that what you neglect is what's holding you back. So as an example, let's say somebody has a strong need to transform their body. I came from a fitness background. And what I've consistently seen in my fitness background is that in the first place, if somebody is, let's say, have no control at all over their mind, they have zero control over their emotions, or they don't even try. They don't even try to be disciplined. They don't try. They can try as much as they want to get accountability buddies and whatnot. If they try to work on their body without any form of discipline, without any form of mental control, mindset mastery, what normally ends up happening is that they get consistent for about a month or 2 months or even 3 months. Sometimes if they get really lucky, they can be consistent for like 6 months. And during the times that they are consistent, they say they found something that works for them. But immediately after that, life happens, and they get stressed, right? When life happens, they either get stressed or their money or their finances get stressed. And so if their finances get stressed, they need to work overtime, they need to do this and they need to do that, which in turn affects their mind. More stress means a lot more difficult time resisting temptations of food and alcohol and whatnot. So they ended up binging once and then binging twice and then 3 times and so on, and then they fall off the bandwagon. So they are trying to work on their body, but if certain things are the bigger limiting factor, they literally can't work on the body. So if you think about it from a chart of, let's say, let me expand my screen again. So if you think about it from, let's say, a bar, like a graph, right? And you have like 9 areas of life. In my model, there's 9 areas. You have 9 areas of life. If certain things, let's say you want to work on your money, you want to work on your finances, but there are other things which is significantly lower. The one thing which is the lowest, whatever that is the lowest area, it's exactly what's gonna drag and what's gonna hold the area that you want to work on back. So you're not gonna be able to do that very well. So whatever it is that you neglect is what's holding you back. Because if you don't spend time thinking about it, if you don't spend energy doing anything about this, in what sense, in what reality would that area of life improve? It wouldn't improve. That's why what you neglect is what's holding you back. So we need to have a complete big picture overview in an unbiased way. So that is where I felt the necessity to create my own version, because I find that given the background of whoever it is that created the Wheel of Life model, it tend to be biased towards their own preferences. And I think that that's even though that's it works, like as an example, Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life model worked tremendously well for him. It didn't really work very well for me because I represent a certain demographic, a certain part of the population. And me in particular, I find that what sets me apart is that I have spent quite a lot of time studying spirituality. And after I go through certain things, certain personal experiences, spiritual experiences, and influence, I find that I couldn't get behind many of the different existing Wheel of Life models that is out there today. So what I found to be to finally click for me was my exposure to Ken Wilber's integral theory. So Ken Wilber's he himself has a whole host of history behind him. So we're not gonna get too much into that. But suffice to say, he created something called the AQAL model, AQAL, all quadrants, all lights. His life work is all about unifying all the various different schools of thoughts, all the various different areas of study in life. And so I took that work to my own work is heavily influenced based on that, because that was the only work that in my mind truly represents everything in an unbiased manner. However, I have to modify certain things to fit the context of what we're doing. So in his AQAL model, there's actually four quadrants, and four quadrants which can further be divided into probably 12, like unlimited number of lines, unlimited number of vertices. For me, I find that for the purpose and context of what we're doing today, this 9 areas, this 3 quadrant is enough. So you have the controllable on the top side and uncontrollable factors on the bottom side. So things like your personhood, on the left side you can see person. What represents you as a person is controllable. You can control your body, you can control your mind, you can control your intellect, and then there is your position in society, your position in the world, which reflects on your time, like how much time and how you use your time, what kind of how much time you have as leverage, and what is the space like. What is when it comes to space, I'm referring to your own personal space, your personal environment, your work environment, and things. Your materialistic things represents your materialistic wealth. And people, family, community, world. It has now changed somewhat, but basically right now it's changed to I added romance and I removed the world, because for most people world is too big of a thing to think about. So you have these three main quadrants, which is divided into 9 subcategories. This is something I found to be the most unbiased in my work so far. So as I mentioned over here, world is removed now. This is an old picture. I didn't update this picture because I created this picture when I still had my old laptop with Adobe Illustrator, and I lost the file completely because I wiped my hard drive accidentally. And I never had the time to recreate this thing. It took me a long time to draw this thing out, so I don't want to do it anymore. So basically, world is now changed to community with romance added in, which is the reason why you'll be able to see down here under people, romance, family, community / world. So that is one thing that you need to know. So why no spirituality? You will find that in many Wheel of Life models, there are always a spirituality component to it. And whatever I'm about to say reflects only my opinion. I'm not saying that this is the truth, this is the absolute truth. I don't have the ego to say something like that. I don't have the balls to say something like that. So I personally, spirituality, this is my own truth. Okay, this is what I think. I think that spirituality is not the same as religion. There are religious people who are absolutely not spiritual at all, and then there are spiritual people who are not religious at all. So they are not mutually exclusive, but at the same time, one does not mean the other. To me, spirituality, the whole motivation, or the whole study of spirituality is the study of the truth behind everything. So we are into spirituality because we want to see. People use the word enlighten. Why? Enlighten, awaken. Why? Awaken so that they can see the truth. Enlighten, now there's from the darkness to the light. Now you can see. Before you can't see. So the idea of spirituality is seeing. Even when we talk about the esoteric areas of spirituality, even when in the Western, in the Chinese metaphysics and all of that, the whole idea of spirituality to people is not about gaining quote unquote superpowers or whatever not. It is simply about being able to penetrate the veil. It's simply about being able to see past what is the illusion of real life, of what is perceived, and to see what is the truth behind everything. So, and this is where I need to say this: theorizing does not mean knowing. Theorizing does not mean knowing. Just because you are able to regurgitate something that someone famous once said, it doesn't mean that you understand what they have said. It doesn't mean you have lived what they have said. In order for you to know something, you must have experienced something. Like you have known that you have two hands. You don't have to believe that you have two hands because you know that you have two hands. You are able to experience your hands anytime. So when we say something like, "Oh, I have experienced a spiritual phenomena," or "I have gone through a spiritual experience," it's because you have felt something. It is not because you have read something somewhere and had this light bulb moment. Aha! Okay. Anybody who have truly experienced any form of spiritual awakening or whatever experience that they have gone through, they will tell you that true spiritual experience, like the spiritual experience that we are referring to, is a full body thing. It's not like, oh, my brain is light up. Okay, it's not like that. Or my heart is on fire and then my brain is dead. No, it's like it's a whole beingness thing. So in order for you to know, you must have already experienced. In order for you to experience, you must first do. Thinking without doing is not spirituality, it's escapism. So what it means is that we've seen many times people spend a lot of time debating spirituality, talking, thinking, debating, philosophizing, all of this stuff. What's the point? We can debate until the cows come home, but unless you truly experience what you're saying, all that debate is what I personally call mental masturbation. So all of that. So if let's say you were to put spirituality as a vertical over here, if you put spirituality as a category, what ended up happening is that people just spend a lot of time going to studying the Bible, studying personal development, learning from gurus, listening to gurus. But you listen and you study and you learn, nothing really happens unless you actually go and do something. Any guru will tell you, go and apply yourself to something. Spiritual development is found when you apply yourself towards something. It is found through a journey inwards. It is not something that you can find by studying or learning, quote unquote learning. True learning happens in doing. So intellectual explorations only serve to create even more disconnect between the internal and the external. You study, you think you know, but you don't really know because you never experience. And the more you crave spiritual enlightenment, the more you crave spiritual awakening, the more you fantasize being able to do this and being able to do that, the more attached you are. And paradoxically, that takes you even further away from spiritual truth. So you can't let go of things you never had in the first place. So many self-proclaimed spiritualists use spirituality as a reason to not work for anything, thinking they've already let go. But the moment things happen to them, they lose control. They lose all self-control. And so we hear a lot of stories about cults, false prophets, spiritual leaders who misuse their power. Why? It happens because they never had it in the first place. It's all in the head. It's all theory. And that's where we heard this phrase, a head full of scriptures and a heart full of judgment. and a heart full of hate. This happens because people are too busy attached to spirituality. So rather than having a spirituality component over here, right? Just apply yourself. That's my opinion. Just apply yourself across each of these areas. Use these areas as a scaffolding. Apply yourself towards your career, apply yourself towards your life, your work, your family. Choose some, like, what is your personal life purpose? What is your personal thing that you really want to focus on right now? Focus on that, and you will start to realize, right? Your purpose will start to unfold, and you yourself will start to change because you apply yourself. So in other words, through your pursuit of these areas, your spiritual development will happen naturally anyway. So there's no need for a vertical specifically for spirituality. Then you might ask, like, why no personal development? A lot of times people say, oh, personal development very important. So here's something that I want to pose, a mental experiment, okay, that I want to pose for you, an intellectual experiment. Imagine going to the gym, and you go and learn a new exercise. And every time you go to the gym, you go and learn one more new exercise. And you keep on learning forever, learning new exercise techniques without ever increasing the load or the difficulty of the exercise. Will you get any stronger? You wouldn't get any stronger, right? So personal development and people who are obsessed with personal development, we call them seminar junkies. That's what they do. They go to course after course. You know, they go to Tony Robbins' course, rah, rah, rah. They go to another course, rah, rah, rah. They go to this and they go to that. They go and read the Upanishad. They go and read the Bible, and then they go and read whatever course, whatever program, whatever online course that you can imagine. Okay, so they go and go through all of that stuff, but they're just learning intellectually, as I mentioned just now. So theorizing isn't knowing. So since theorizing does not mean knowing, going through many personal development courses or book reading does not constitute any form of knowing at all as well. So on the other hand, if you randomly put yourself through hardships or pain without any form of path, will you improve? Yes, you will improve, but it's not exactly the most efficient way to improve. We need a medium and a way to increase the load. So to put it into a parallel, you go to the gym, maybe you follow a program. Okay, maybe you learn how the program works, you learn how the technique works, but you don't wait until you learn everything there is to know about exercise before you start. You learn one technique, you start using the technique, and you start increasing the load. And then you learn another one, and you start increasing the load on that too. So you slowly pile on. Over time, you find that, okay, from not being able to do a single push-up, now you're able to do one push-up. No, from not being able to do any form of bodyweight squats, now you're able to do like 50 kilo squats. After a few years, you're able to do 100 plus kilo squats, and then 50 kilos, and so on and so forth. You get stronger and stronger to the point where there will come a day when beginners who walk into the gym looking at you lifting weights, you're gonna see, what, this guy is a Superman, right? So we need a medium, and we need a way to increase the load. So what is your medium? Life is your medium. I don't run a coaching program anymore, but when I do run a coaching program, I often tell my students, that my coachees, that business is a vehicle by which we can transcend our ego. It is a greatest tool for personal development, because business is stressful, because business requires that you relinquish any false assumptions, any prior assumptions about yourself, about your market. It requires you to let go, and at the same time, it requires you to dance. It requires you to be able to fall, and at the same time pick yourself back up. It is filled with challenges. So life is like that. It is filled with challenges. If you really want to grow yourself as a human being, You need to live life as full as you can. You're living the life as full as you can is the load. Challenging yourself to go outside your comfort zones. Doing things that scares you is your difficulty. So in the words of I can't remember his name right now. Swami Vivekananda. He said that a seed goes into the soil. The seed is surrounded by water, by soil, by air, and sunlight. It does not become water. The seed does not become water. The seed does not become soil or air. The seed blooms. It uses all these various elements and it blooms into a plant of its own by itself. So life has many more elements to life than just the soil. It has elements of people you don't like. It has elements of suffering. It has elements of pain. It has elements of betrayal, of lies, tricks, various different challenges of human nature. It also contains various challenges of unforeseen nature, things completely outside your control. Murphy's Law. Sometimes you work very, very hard for a certain project. Sometimes you want something really badly. You go all out, you pursue it, and you get disappointed because either something happened that is completely outside of your control or you failed yourself. Learning to recover from that, come back from that is the whole point. That is the point of life. The point of life is not to enjoy life. Well, somewhat enjoy life. Because what is enjoyment anyway? Without pain, there is no enjoyment. The idea is that you have all these negative experiences of life and you have all these positive experiences of life. Many people are simply attached to only the positive experiences of life. They don't want the negative experiences at all. And because they don't want the negative experiences at all and they avoid it so bad, so much, they are so scared of these negative experiences, they never live life. And so they spend most of their time hiding in the darkness, hiding, not trying anything new, not pursuing what they want, coming up with excuses, coming up with reasons. And the more intellectual among us, the smarter people among us, they will never show to you that they are hiding from what needs to be done. They will very smartly use all sorts of intellectual debates and intellectual questioning, intellectual studying to justify never going into the pool. So they will engross themselves they're gonna tell you that they're gonna go and learn how to swim, and then they go to the pool, they get changed into swimming gear, and then they bring out their notebook and they study how other people swim rather than going into the pool themselves. So life is your medium. Doing things that scares you, that challenges you, that is our difficulty. So all these areas are important areas that will assist you anyway. So again, all these areas. If you try to apply yourself into even one of these things, you will find it is filled with challenges. Many people underestimate the amount of challenge that is, the amount of challenges, aka enjoyment, challenges are enjoyment, that already exists in life. And because they underestimate all of that, they never, the moment something happens, they feel this pang of disappointment and they retreat and they hide back in their shell. All these areas are important areas that will assist you to grow yourself personally anyway. So challenging yourself to grow in each area will more than adequately serve as a vehicle for personal development. And I would argue, 100% argue, that focusing on all of these areas will serve more for your own personal development than reading 1,000 books or attending 1,000 courses or hiring 1,000 coaches. Because you are in it, you are in the trenches, you are doing it. And you will still hire coaches, you will still read books, you will still attend courses. But now, the theories that you learn and the advice that you receive from your mentors, and the realizations that you get from your coaches or your guru will make a lot more sense because you have the scaffolding of experience to back it up. So that's why no vertical for personal development is required. Now, why no career? Well, career is a means to an end. When you are looking forward to growing a career, you are either in it for monetary rewards, in which it is already covered in the material wealth under things, or you are in it because you want for the sense of purpose. It's the game. It's a game. It's a thing. You're going there. In which case, it's a whole topic by itself. So let's talk about purpose. Purpose is not found. It is realized. A kitchen knife lives its purpose when it is doing its thing. So imagine that knife, if that knife, while being molded, right? Now this knife is destined to be molded, like a piece of rock is destined to be a knife. Imagine that piece of metal, while being molded, cut into shape, ground to edge, ground to become sharp, fitted with wood handle, packaged and sold. Imagine if that knife, while going through the process of ultimately living its purpose, it complained every step of the way. A lump of iron destined to be a knife does not go around finding its purpose. A lump of iron just need to let it be, and the purpose will be realized. Unfortunately for the human, a lump of iron is a lot more simpler and a lot more compliant than the human. The human ego is a lot harder than iron. The human ego has its own wants and its own desires. Certain things are meant to be, but the human ego refuses to acknowledge it. The human ego refuses to accept it. So a lot of people spend a lot of time resisting. Certain things are meant to fail. They couldn't let it fail, so they suffer, and then eventually it failed anyway. And then they have to spend the next five years hiring a coach, working through their trauma. Right? So certain things are meant to be successful, are meant to be easy. This will work, but they refuse to do what works because they are attached to something else. So again, a knife lives its purpose when it's chopping vegetables or chopping meat, doing its thing in the kitchen. But if it complains every step of the way, it is only prolonging the time before it realizes its purpose. A purpose is realized. It's not found. So if I say that's the case, all you got to do is just do whatever you want to do. Just do whatever you want to do. Right now, eventually, and there's no danger with that. There's no danger with doing what you want to do. Because eventually you'll realize whether through the hard knocks of life or through you being smart and wise, you'll realize that things that you're doing for you, you realize certain things that you want to do are either good for you or bad for you. And then you will emotionally understand that you don't want to do the things which is bad for you, and you want to do the things which is good for you. But if you deny and you keep on denying it, denying what you want, denying what you should, forcing yourself to do what you should do, and like if you live life being unaware and being unconscious like that, eventually there's all this rubber band effect. You know rubber band effect, you pull, you let go, it snaps back to your wrist, right? So there's no point about that. What more? Colleagues. When I go into my career, I meet colleagues. So I love my colleagues. Well, colleagues are part of your community, right? But you don't understand, Felix. Like there's an element over there. I can upskill myself. Well, skills are part of intellect. Right here, intellect. It's acquirable skills. Yeah, but there's a sense of certainty in knowing my next step. There's a higher purpose. No, career is not a higher purpose. Purpose is, like I said, and like I mentioned earlier, it's unfolding every moment. Just do what you want to do. Eventually, it's going to come. So the sense of certainty, knowing what to do, knowing the next step, all of that is part of your mind and intellect. So mind, why? Because it's about you making peace and feeling secure in a existence where certainty is impossible. There is no such thing as certainty. But a lot of people are attached to certainty. I want to guarantee that it works. There's no way you can guarantee that anything will work. You have a fair degree of confidence due to past track record and historical evidence. But in order for you to know, it needs to happen, then only you know. So by doing this envisioning process and committing to the actions you envision, year by year, you are already on the fast track to realize your purpose. So therefore, career seems redundant to me. Right? So this is the three reasons why. These why no spirituality, why no personal development, and why no career. I think it's redundant. Right? So that's my version of the Wheel of Life model. Next part. Worldview, vision, purpose, strategy. Why? Why is this important? Simon Sinek says, start with why. Ever since Simon Sinek says, start with why, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has learned to adopt that quote and regurgitate that thing to everyone without even understanding what it means. Simon Sinek says, start with why in the context of communication. He's not talking about it in the context of self-motivation. Because there is a why, true. But why what? If the why comes without a what is the why for? There is no why behind the why in the first place. So there is things like over here in this graph, we all want a certain outcome, right? Inside this Wheel of Life model, in all of these areas of life, you want a certain outcome. But in order for you to produce that outcome, will you produce that outcome by dreaming about it? No. I spend enough time in fitness to know. No matter how much someone wants to get six-pack abs, if they keep on just dreaming about it without doing anything about it, the six-pack abs aren't going to appear. So, outcome, okay, is something that happens when we produce the sufficient and right behavior that is conducive to producing the outcome. So once we produce the behavior, the outcome appears. But the state of mind that happens, if you are angry, there is a certain range of predictable behavior. If I know you really well, you know yourself, okay? So when you are angry, there is a certain things that you do. It's pretty predictable. When you are jealous, there's a certain range of things that you would do. Pretty predictable. When you are happy, there's a certain range of things that you will do. You can just experiment this with yourself. Do you know what you do when you're happy? Do you know what you do when you're angry? Do you know what you do when you are upset, sad, depressed, feeling guilt? Okay, there are a host of states, a host of behaviors that is determined, right? So if let's say you are constantly attached to what is the outcome without controlling the behavior, then your outcome is now going to be materialized. So a lot of times people say, oh, let's control the behavior. We just control the behavior. But if you control the behavior without taking into account your state of mind, right, without working on your mind, without mastering your mindset, what's going to happen is every time your state changes, right, you're going to produce the behavior. You're trying to produce good behavior. And then you got upset and you produce a completely alternate behavior. You wanted to take care of your nutrition. You want to take care of your health. And then you got into a fight with the spouse. And then you walk by Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, nice. Right? To the spiritual people, we can talk about enlightenment until the cows come home. And then the waiter forgets your order. And then you got upset. Then what's the point of all that conversation about spiritual enlightenment? So the state, right, governs the behavior. But what governs the state? There are people who are permanently angry. There are people who are permanently, like, you can see patterns among people. Like you yourself, you can detect. You can just be very truthful to yourself right now, because I am not watching you. You don't need to report to anybody. Like, you can reflect and see what is the emotional state that you are mostly in. Be very careful with that, because I found that a lot of people who are upset, they tend to say that they are not upset. A lot of people who are like feeling fearful tend to say they are feeling joyful. It's very weird, very weird. Because they are so attached to the opposite spectrum of the positive feelings that they don't want to think about the negative feelings. So the identity, every one of us have a certain identity. So whichever identity we have determines what is the state of mind that we are likely to be in at any given point in time. Right? So work on the identity, and that is where my NLP trainer, I got certified by NLP master practitioner. He told me working on that identity is the hardest thing ever. Don't even try. And my personal opinion is that the reason why he said that is because working on identity is not an easy thing. It's not something that you snap and you'll be able to do. I've encountered many very prideful NLP practitioners who claim that they are able to snap change identity very fast. But well, I know these people, and the fact that I say that they are prideful NLP people, identity. So it's the self-awareness part is very important. It is possible to change the identity. It is possible. Like John Berardi, founder of Precision Nutrition, he said that if you are somebody who identifies as someone who never skips a workout, you will never skip a workout. But if you are somebody who identifies yourself as being soft, as being weak, or whatever not, you're gonna skip workouts all the time. So changing identity is very important. Changing identity is also possible. It's just that it's slow. It just takes time. And that's the reason why we go through all of these steps, because we can't, and we do it year after year, because it's not something that we can just and it can become 100%, 180 degrees. Is it possible to snap and change yourself 180 degrees? Yes, you can, but don't count on it, because hope is not a strategy. Don't count on it happening every single time. And to all of you who are healers, therapists, NLP practitioners especially, don't count on that one rare occasion that you help 3 people over the course of 1 whole year snap their identity 180 degrees, to take it as an automatic information that it is going to hold true for every single person that you meet. Because different people have different levels of readiness. But not everyone is going to be able to immediately change. It happens, but don't count on it. Worldview is what controls identity. Because how do you know who you are? You know who you are by looking at yourself in the mirror, both metaphorically and literally. You want to know how you look at yourself in the mirror, or you take a photo of yourself. You want to know whether you're obese or underweight or whatever. You step on a scale. You are seeing certain things. You see information here, you see information there, and you collate. The brain collates, your mind collects all of these data, all of these feedback, and the mind makes a judgment. Oh, this is who I am. So you see your interaction with people, you see your interaction with the world. That's worldview. Now, consciousness and sentience is I think too much of a topic. I don't want to go into that. Just so you know, this whole thing is inspired. I created this whole thing from a very deep, this is not peer reviewed. Okay, just don't quote me. This is just my own musings one day. And over a period of few months, I keep on musing on the same thing, and I created these levels of transformation. It is not found on anywhere else online. It is just the only thing that makes sense to me. I studied DILTs. It didn't quite make sense to me. I studied other models of behavior, other models of change. It doesn't seem to be very complete to me. So this is the thing that I came up with that makes sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what makes sense to me right now. So that's why. Now, so with that being said, right, it is a lot to think about all of these things, which is why I simplified into worldview, vision, purpose, strategy. So if let's say you control worldview, if you control worldview, your identity gets control, your state gets control, your behavior and outcome gets control, then the one thing that we need to really figure out is what is the worldview that we want and what is a vision, which is the outcome. So therefore, the way we work, right, as you can see under here, whenever we are setting something, we go into the worldview first, we assess the worldview, and then from the new standpoint of the new worldview, we figure out what is a new vision. What is the purpose behind the vision? And then what is a strategy? Cool? Right? So that is how this works. Now, what is the difference between vision and belief? Some people will be like, oh yeah, Felix, I've seen this before from Lifebook. But oh, Felix, why are you changing this from beliefs to worldview? Well, here's the reason why. There's a difference between worldview and beliefs. Belief is ideas about something held as truth. This is the definition. You have certain ideas about something held as truth. And that means you either have proof. Like if you have proof that something is true, then it is no longer a belief. It is a fact. If you have a lot of supporting evidence that lends weight to a theory, then it is not a fact, it is a theory. Then you need, by necessity, you need to believe that it is true. So in other words, belief is just an assumption, held as truth. It is an assumption, possibly with evidence, but you don't really know that it's a fact. You can have a very strong conviction on it, but it is not a fact until you can have irrefutable proof. So these can range from simple factual statements like the Earth orbits the Sun to complex ideological positions like political or religious beliefs. While a worldview is composed of many beliefs, not all beliefs define a worldview. So the worldview is the lens by which you see everything. As an example, as a metaphor, just now I told you that your identity is shaped by what you see in the world. You look at yourself in the mirror, you look at the scale, you hear what people say, right? So what is the determining factor over here? The determining factor here is the lens by which you see. If your lens is, if there is a what is the word I'm looking for? If there is a needle in your eye, then your vision is going to be pretty much skewed, right? The thing about that is that many of us walk around with very heavy lenses. We have lenses that is covered by, I don't know, many layers of lens that is causing a lot of distortion, caused by all kinds of traumas and all kinds of stuff that we went through in our childhood years and adult years and past and present experiences, etc. So when you have all these lenses, it's very hard to see the truth. So this term, okay, the worldview, refers to the fundamental cognitive orientation of an individual or society, encompassing the entirety of the individual or society's knowledge and point of view. So it means that if I say, what is your worldview about body? It means that what I'm really asking you is not for one of your beliefs or two of your beliefs or 10 of your beliefs. I'm talking about, what do you think is your body? What is the meaning of your body to you? When I ask it this way, you can see a lot more into yourself than I just ask you, come up with 10 beliefs that you have. So that is the difference between worldview and beliefs, and that's the reason why I chose the word worldview rather than just following belief. Like I said earlier, I am not a fan of reinventing the wheels. If something works, I would just maintain it. I wouldn't even try to come up with something new. But I don't think it works. Therefore, I changed into worldview. Vision versus goals. So goal is a smart, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound objective that serves as a step towards achieving a vision, whereas a vision is a broad aspirational image of a future that an individual, group, or organization aims to create. Right? So Sadhguru said it best. A vision is a picture, and you are not alone. There are other people that is included in the picture. A goal is solitary, but at the same time, it is pretty logical, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound, objective, that serve as a step towards achieving a vision. So in other words, the goal can be the milestones, but the vision is a big picture. Remember what I said at the very start? We want to go from many to few. So when we start to think about things in terms of beliefs and goals, right? Our lists become overly big, overly long. Whereas when we think in terms of worldview and vision, our list is now shorter. We already have 9 stuff that we need to think about. We don't want to populate it with more things that we want than is necessary. All right? So that's vision and goals. And purpose is why. Okay? So once you go through this thing, like you understand your worldview, you understand the vision, now only your why takes root. Now only you go and say, okay, so why? I want to go from here to here. Why? What's the point? Then you can go in and you can dig deep and ask yourself, why does this truly matter? The hard question, right? Only when you buy your own message, then only it will take serious root. Then your strategy, how? Okay, so the strategy in terms of like how, what to do, what needs to be done every single day, then only this happens. Okay, so that is the second framework. Worldview, vision, purpose, strategy. Third framework, minimum goals. Very simple. The more goals you have to remember, the heavier and less nimble you become. So I remember when I used to follow all the other people's stuff, right? I used to carry around like 6 goals, 12 goals, and you know what? It's so exhausting. Seriously, it's so exhausting having to carry so many goals. And I always end my year like only getting half of the goals done. So what's the point of having 12 goals when consistently there's only half? But now I set myself like 3 goals, 5 goals maximum, right? And every year I consistently hit almost all of them. This year I hit all of them. This year was the best year. I hit all of them by September. So instead of having many goals, focus only on a few. Set one goal up to a maximum of 5. The smaller the number of goals that you have, the better. Because it means that you can channel all of that awesome energy and focus that you have into one consistent focus to make that singular goal become a reality. You will notice that people who are athletes, people who are really intensely focused on one thing and doing one thing alone, they tend to do something great with their life. And finally, this is possibly the most important, the one-word intention. The one-word intention is the key quality you need in order to realize your goals. So some examples are this year, like this year, or rather last year, after I reflected on everything that I have done throughout the year, all the mistakes, all things that I've done well, and what I can improve, I realized that I have been a little bit too selfless. I've been helping too much. And ironically, the more I try to help, the more annoyed people become. Why? Because I have been doing too much, but not enough for myself. And I realized that I need to be more selfish. And so I was about to set selfishness as my goal, as my intention, as my one-word intention. And then one of my friends, Jenny, bless her heart, she says, Felix, maybe instead of saying selfishness, you can say selffulness. And I was like, I like that, selffulness. So we created a word, and I said myself, selffulness. And selffulness has been the major determining factor behind all the decisions, big and small, that I did for the whole year. And every time I'm about to make a decision, I would ask myself, is this the most selfful thing to do? Is this the most selfful thing to do? Is this the most selfful thing to do? And this is the key behind why I was finally able to like quadruple my income, because I maintain a lower fee because I wasn't prioritizing myself. I was prioritizing helping people. because like I'm a person of I was a person of not many needs. I don't really need luxury lifestyle or whatever not. So the idea of like charging a lot didn't appeal to me. And then I said, okay, like, and then I realized after the whole of last year, I went back with when I was doing the reflection, whole body blue black, mental body blue black, emotional body also blue black. I realized that I needed to be selfful. So I like when faced with the question, do I want to raise my price? Okay, what is the most selfful thing to do? Raise price. Scary. Raise it anyway. Okay, raise. So there you go. We have it. And towards the like, and I still remember last year I set a goal of curing my eczema finally, and I started researching, started learning, and started trying things, and think it just didn't work. And then finally, I got a few hints here and there, but the hint involves changing my diet, changing my nutrition very drastically, and cutting off all the steroidal cream and also the oral steroids that I was taking to manage my symptoms. And I know that it's gonna be very hard if I do that. It's gonna be so difficult. But I asked myself, what is the most selfful thing to do? And I asked myself like, and I told myself that does pampering my body equate to selffulness? And the answer is no. Taking care of myself is selffulness. Sometimes taking care of myself is hard. Sometimes taking care of myself is fucking difficult. And I need to do it anyway. So I went through with it 2 months of absolute suffering, of pain every single day, like 1,000 ants stinging my skin. But I suffered through the 2 months of doing that. Lo and behold, my eczema is now completely cured. I could go on and on about it, but basically, like, even now, like, I just went back. I just went on a holiday. For 2 weeks, I just literally ate whatever the hell I want. Uh, and I had very minimal problems, very minimal, as opposed to previously. If I eat anything outside of that small little list that I have, like, I would have strong heavy flare-ups. Now I don't anymore. So that's great. So basically, the one word intention is the key quality that you need in order to realize your goal. Okay, it is the key quality that you need in order to realize your goal. So what is the key quality that you need, that you are lacking right now, that you are not practicing? What is the mindset that you have not been utilizing? What is the identity that you need to incorporate? What is the quality? Let me repeat that. What is a quality that you need to incorporate into your identity that you don't already have? That is what you need. So it's something crucial at helping you take the necessary actions consistently. And so you need to look at all the actions. Once you've done all this work, right, you need to look at all the actions that you need to do in order to consistently do in order for your goals to materialize. And you ask yourself, what kind of person is the kind of person that can do all of these things consistently, right? What is the quality of this person that make them able to do these things consistently? That is the quality that you need. It is usually a quality that you're not familiar with at all. Sometimes it is familiar, but it is a new layer. As an example, I decided that my coming year intention is discipline. And the people who know me will be confused why I choose discipline, because I appear to be a highly disciplined individual. But throughout my reflection this year, I realized that yes, I thought I was a disciplined person, but actually I wasn't disciplined. I'm just obsessed. I'm just obsessed with the work. I'm obsessed with life. I'm obsessed with what I do and my craft, but I am not really disciplined, because if somebody misunderstands me, I don't have enough discipline to not correct them. I don't have the discipline to I'm not disciplined enough that when I see somebody making a huge mistake, if I see somebody making a huge mistake, even if it doesn't give me anything, even if it costs me something, I usually tend to try and correct them. And usually that doesn't end up well. because they will become defensive, and then you know that things start to happen. So I need to be more I need to be more disciplined at minding my own business. I need to be more disciplined at how I'm utilizing my time. And ever since I came back from my retreat this year, over the past few days, I'm already starting to see how my nutrition has started to change, how my perspective and my worldview has started to change. Because every time now I'm about to eat something, I'm like, is this the most disciplined thing to do? No, just for context, because I have been spending 2 weeks of eating whatever the hell I want. It's a bit hard to get back to my regular diet now. But this whole thing about disciplines, I find it a lot more easier to get back into it, because I now, every time I'm about to make a choice, I'm like, is this the most disciplined thing I can do? Is this the most disciplined thing I can do? And I realize on a day-to-day basis, meal by meal basis, my desire for taste evaporating. It's weird. But the one word intention, it's that powerful. So you are already subconsciously using your other qualities to base your decisions. So those of you who are afraid of changing who you are, oh, but I'm afraid to change, you don't have to worry about that. Because who you are made of many qualities, many beliefs, many belief systems, and whatever. All the other stuff, you are already subconsciously using it. So you're not giving up things. Even maybe some of you need to give up certain things, but many of you may not need to give up anything. You may just need to adopt something new. So to learn this new quality, right? This new quality is what you'll be using to base all your decisions on. You train yourself. So let's say you already have 9 qualities, very good qualities. Now you need to adopt the 10th one. You are now focusing on the 10th one, because the 9th one, 9 other qualities, you already absorbed into your being. You're already used to doing it. You're already habitually, subconsciously using it. So you don't need to do all of that. You just need to focus on that one new thing. And you know that you have chosen the right one-word intention when you feel quite excited, but mostly terrified. Right? So when I choose the word discipline, it scares me. When I choose the word selffulness, it scares me. So I encourage you to figure that out. So with that being said, let's move on to the steps. So this is arranged in such a way that you start from the bottom first. You start from the person first. Okay, so person, places, people. These three things, these three quadrants, you're gonna work on that first. So, but before that, remember, we're gonna go back to the steps, reflect the past year, and extract lessons. So when you are doing this exercise, you can literally just follow this checklist. So reflect past year and extract lesson. Step 1. You come here. You go to reflection database. Okay. When you first open this, you should have this toggle button. I do it this way to make it clean for you. Just open this up. You'll see year-end reflections, right? So what you do is you just click on new. Once you click on new, your mouse click away from it, and you will see that it appears, it is now created a new item. To delete that, just click on this and you'll be able to delete that. When you want to create a new one, just click on new one. That's it. Click on open. And you have all these questions. So these are, in my personal opinion, the most powerful questions I should be asking myself. I highly recommend you take a day or two to answer all these questions. Actually, yeah, just spend a whole day answering these questions. If you don't want to spend that much time, it's okay. Right? It's your prerogative how you want to spend your time. But for me, I spend a long time. In my cruise, like the whole in my envisioning retreat this year was on a cruise. I spent the entirety of the first day just thinking about these questions. So, what were the goals that you had when you started the year? What actions did you take in order to accomplish those goals? What were the biggest wins you had this year? Having wins means like, what are the results? Doing wins, what are all of the actions? The being wins, what are the mindset shifts that you made? And then you rate yourself, how satisfied you are with each of these areas of life. Body, score, rate yourself 1 to 10. Mind, intellect, etc., etc. And remarks like, why did you rate yourself that way? What fell short of your expectations? What could you have done differently? What have you learned about yourself or your goals that will be helping you attain your goals next year? So if you want help, you will open this. You will have this toggle thing, and you have some other questions for you to ideate and think further, right? So you have that. Once you do the reflection, it is stored in this part here permanently, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Then go into the second one. Assess your personal asset. Oh, you already done that because it's already part here. Assess personal satisfaction. Number 2 is already built in. Then you go into number 3. Reassess your worldviews about each area. Okay, reassess your worldviews. So you go into this part here, person. So you go from body, mind, intellect, time, space, things, romance, family, community. But what I recommend is that you go through one by one like this. You finish the whole thing like that, and then you go into the mind, you finish the whole thing like that, and you go into intellect, you finish the whole thing, etc., etc. Okay, so worldview. Then you ask yourself some really hard questions. What does body mean to you? What is body? What does body mean to you? Vision. Once you do that, set a new vision. So what is now that you have a worldview about body, what is the vision that you have for the body, for your body this coming year? Like for me, body is not just a matter of like physical appearance. It is also a matter of health, fitness, strength. But different people with different backgrounds and understanding of what body is, you will have different interpretations. So I don't want to give you that one because I don't want to pollute the way you think. But I've already created the scaffolding. You gotta now just use it. Vision, purpose. Deeply assess why each vision is important for you. Purpose of vision. And then strategize how you will achieve the vision for each area. So what is the strategy here? What is the exercise routine? What is the nutrition protocol that you're going to follow? Be detailed. Be very, very detailed. Later, I'm going to show you mine. I'm not going to show you, because some of these things are actually quite private. I'm not going to show you this part here. I'm going to show you my condensed version, the top-down version, okay? Then after that, you're gonna decide. You're gonna do the same thing for all of the areas, right? So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do for mind, and you do for intellect, you do for time, do for space, do for things, do for romance, family, community / world. Right now, even when you look at this, your mind may come up blank, and it's okay. The reason why is because number 1, you shouldn't be looking at all of these things all at once. You need to look at this one at a time. And number two is that if you look at all these things all at once, especially those of you who if you have some anxiety, if you are like impatient kind of person generally, you may rush to come up with answers. And these are not the kind of things that you are able to come up with answers immediately. If you rush to come up with answers, you may end up coming up with answers which is not true to you, or you may end up just giving up because it is too much thinking. But at the same time, the whole idea of doing all of these things is to think. So don't rush it. Give yourself another time. So for me, right, I actually got these 3 things done, right, in like one a day. I spent one day doing these questions, another day doing this personhood, which is like body, mind, intellect. Do another day I spend time, space, things. Do another day people, romance, family, community. So it's already 4 days I spent just on all of these things alone. All right. Then after that, you decide on one vision statement for the year. So yeah. So what I did was I literally just put I put all of these things. Okay. I literally put all of these things over here. like in a whole list. Oh gosh, I'm a bit embarrassed now. Okay, I'm gonna stop right now. Basically, you put all of these things into a list and you ask yourself, like, what's your vision for this year? What is a vision statement? And for me, my vision statement is to build a life where I don't need a holiday from. That's my vision statement this year. So now I have a vision, building a life I don't need a holiday from. So with that understanding, now I can look again at the entire list that I created for all of these areas: body, mind, intellect, time, space, things. Because remember, every single one of them has a vision, right? So you can, once you have all these, then you start to prioritize. You should ask yourself, like, what are the things that don't really matter? What are the things that is a nice to have? What are the things that is absolutely must have? What are the things that if I make this happen, everything else will change? So like for me last year, right? For me this year, not last year. Or actually last year, I decided that increasing my income is the number one most important thing. And so I put everything, like 70% of my effort into increasing my income. And it happened for me. So it is not about having many goals. Now you want to condense it. And so over here, the question is, what are the top goals that you'll focus on this year, now that you have your vision? So put just a couple, put just only a few. Like for me, I have like 5 things over here. It was only 4 things, like make 7 figures / hit first 6-figure month. Consistently put out 1 newsletter a week for the whole year. I know it doesn't seem like much, but this is a behavioral goal that I decided. So I've looked at all of the vision and I realized that if I just set this goal, right, it will change a lot in terms of in terms of helping me attain this, because all other things are already in place. Be consistent with carnivore diet. I know a lot of people disagree with carnivore diet, but I found it works for me. It cured my eczema. It has helped me regain my health and heal my gut. Amazingly enough, weird. All I need to do is just be consistent with it. Reflect daily, set goals daily. And there's a reason why I specifically set this one that I'm not going to go into. You will have your own list as well. So I only have 4. And then after that, coming into this, I realized that there is a yearning in me. I actually want to, like, thinking about like getting back into dating life, but I don't really feel prepared yet. So I wanted to be a high value man first. High value man, I have my own definition of what being a high value man is. High value man is. So aside from my original 4, I put in additionally this one thing over here. And you will notice that inside all of these areas, right? There are this little thingy here, right? That you have like new. You see that? What you can do is you can actually just put photos in here. You see that? When you put photos in here, it's gonna appear here. So you can turn this into your little like vision board. That's the reason why. And you will over here vision board. There's also an image here. They can add in image here. So you can visualize all of these things directly in Notion board itself. Thereby, you don't have to like find magazine and newspapers and cut all these things and paste it over here. Some of you like it. I don't like it. That's why I created a Notion board. So what's your vision this year? What are top goals you're focusing on? And then again, you look at all of these things, right? Look at all of the things that you need to do. What are all of the goals and what are all of the behavior? What are all of the strategies that you decided you're going to implement? And you ask, like, what is that quality that I need? And your answer to that will be your one-word intention. Honestly, when I was doing this, vision, top objectives, theme, it was done on the last day, on day 5. But going into the retreat, I thought that my one-word intention would be relationship. I thought my one-word intention would be there was a list of other things that I was thinking about, but none of it was true. After I do the whole process, and I look at what needs to be done, I realized that discipline is the one thing that I truly need. in order to make all these things happen. And that became my one word intention. So once that is done, you have already written all these things. It's time to go back into the main copy, right? Into the main area over here. And you start putting down all of your goals. So what is goal number one? What is goal number one? So like as an example, get back into shape. And you're gonna click on the add cover. You can change cover, you can change the photo here. So now you will have this is one of your goals, and you do another one, and then another one, and another one. So now you have 4 goals, etc. So basically that's how you do it. You put it over here, and now this has become your project dashboard. This is your intention. Add a new one word intention. You click on this, you add an image, and you change this thing into your, like for me, I put it over the discipline. And you can add an image. So like what I did for myself, this is, I literally asked ChatGPT, okay, draw for me a graphical representation of discipline. And this came up. So it became like that. So delete that. So this is how you use this part here, goals in intention. And then what happens then is that you need to create a timeline of monthly goals that will serve the top goals of the year. So what I did was, like over here, you can see there's a timeline here. The way you use this is you click on, let's say you want to start in January. You click on that, and then you basically you can either type something, give it a name or whatever. So prepare, or give it a name for this month, get set. And then you can click on that, come into it, and you can type whatever you want and use this as a tracking document. And you can come up with month by month. You can change this duration. Like you can drag, you can hover your mouse over here, you can drag and create the duration that you want. So if I put it all the way until 30 on April 30th, you can see this phase lasts for 4 months. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did with mine. Under goals, as you can see, I have preparation in December. I arrived back at from December 14, so I was already preparing. These are all the stuff that I put over here. Top of funnel, this one, this one, this one. So every month have a theme. Top of funnel, YouTube, live workshop, authority, promote retreat, stabilize, move house, furniture, art, etc., etc. And then every morning, do goal setting for the day. Every evening, do reflections. So I've already made it easy for you to do reflections. Like over here, if you go to the goals page. Hold on a minute. Okay, there you go. Goals page, if you click on day end reflection, the moment you click on new, click away, click on open, you have these questions that you ask yourself every single day. Why is this important? It's important because if you never reflect, you never learn. If you never reflect, you're gonna need to be exposed to the same mistake again and again and again many times before you finally learn. If you reflect every day, you will find that you will learn a lot faster. What is learning? Learning means you don't make the same mistake twice, or rather you don't make the same mistake too many times, right? So if let's say you make a mistake, you realize what needs to be done, the same situation happen again, you make another mistake again, you're not learning. So every evening must do reflection. And as for goal setting, this is what I did. So this is unfortunately attached to other part of my Notion board. This is basically my business control center. All right, so I have this thing over this part over here called daily performance checklist. So I have a focus block and then my daily KPIs. So focus block means this is the top 3 things that I need to do, top 1 to 3 things I need to do on a daily basis. So every morning I would come in here and I would decide what is the number 1 most important focus, number 2 most important focus, number 3 most important focus. So likewise for you, come in every morning, do a goal setting for the day, and every evening do reflections. Every quarter, in order to, like, for best practices, every weekly, every week, every month, every quarter, do reflections as well. And you have all these tools made available for you. I've given it to you freely. Go ahead, please use it. Okay, so I understand there's a lot of stuff that I covered here today. Fear not, there is a community that can support you, as I've said. All you gotta do is find the link in the description, click on it, join the community, and you'll be able to get access to like a group of very supportive friends that you can ask questions to. All right. So let me just check if there's anything else. No, nothing else. I think. Okay, I've checked and nothing else that for me to share. That is all for now, folks. There's a lot of stuff. Please take your time to do it, and if you need support, do go and ask for support in the community. One last thing before I leave. If I would highly recommend that you don't take longer than 5 days to finish this, because I've seen, based on past experience in letting other people utilize this system, that the moment it goes past 5 days, people tend to lose motivation to finish it because it's such a comprehensive thing. And this is the reason why I decided that I next year I'm gonna resume doing it for friends. So on the first year I did it myself, second year I did it with friends, third year I did it with friends. This year I decided to do it myself again. But I find it to be a lot more enjoyable when I do it with people. Next year, I am gonna be doing, in 2024, I'm gonna be doing an envisioning retreat. I'm gonna be organizing an envisioning retreat, and hopefully this is gonna be a yearly thing that I do for the community. If you want to, I'm planning it right now. I cannot confirm where or when, which date. I can't confirm any details, but we are planning. So if you are part of the community, you will also be able to be included into the planning process, and we can all go and smash all of our goals by November. And come December, we are all able to just go to some place nice and remote and do this process together. I'll take everyone through and ensure everyone finishes it. So that being said, that is all from me today. Again, if you like this, please like, subscribe, help me push this video out to as many people as possible. I shall see you in my next video. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.